Dharma relates to both physicality and spirituality. We need to have knowledge of the physical and also of the higher worlds. Both are needed to understand what is our own Dharma. Let it put simple. It's common sense. Common sense. What to do, what not to do. What to speak, what not to speak. How to speak, how not to speak. It's a pure common sense. And in the path of the soul evolution, as the soul is progressing, the common sense also increases. The more the common sense of the soul is increasing, the more the soul is evolving. Without the complete understanding of the truth, we cannot understand Dharma. The word itself, Dharma, is so complete. It contains everything. When you are in Ajnana, then you are in Asatya. When you are Asatya, leads to Adharma. And Adharma leads to Papa. And Papa leads to Roga, suffering. So before you can understand Dharma, you should understand Satya. And to understand Satya, you need Jnana. So Ajnana leads to Asatya. Asatya leads to Adharma. Adharma leads to Papa. And Papa leads to suffering, Roga. Jnana leads to Satya. The more you have Jnana, the more you will be in Satya. The more you understand the Satya, then the more you will be in Dharma. Dharma is born out of Satya. The child is born out of mother. When the mother is not there, the child is not there. The child cannot exist without a mother. So Dharma cannot exist without Satya. So Satya comes first. So through Jnana, you understand what is Satya. From Satya, the Dharma is born. And when you are performing your Dharma, then you have a lot of Punya. When you have more Punya, then there is a lot of Bhoga. Bhoga means happiness, peace, celebration. And we create our reality all the time. Not sometime, all the time. We create our reality. That is the ultimate truth. How we create our reality? When we are in Dharma, we are protected. We are protected because of our own Dharma. We suffer because of our own Adharma. Whether you are happy in your life, that is your creation. If you are not happy in your life, that is also your creation. If you are happy, that means you did a lot of Dharma. You are living in Dharma. If you are not happy, that means something is not right. That means you are in Adharma. In the Hindu tradition, we call it as a Sanatana Dharma. Hinduism is, in other words, is Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal. Eternal duty. Dharma is duty. You have no choice. When you hear the word Dharma, you remember that is your duty. You have no choice. You have to do it. And this duty you have agreed upon. Before you are born, you agreed upon certain duties. And this Dharma, this duty exists for the soul eternally. In whatever the worlds you go, in whatever the planes you go, in whatever the dimensions you go, there is always there is a duty for us. There is always we have to fulfill our dharma. That's why it is called Sanatana Dharma. And dharma is not uniform to all the people. There is no uniform treatment in dharma. It depends on the person, it depends on the place, it depends on the time, it depends on the situation. So that's why the awareness is very, very important. You have to live in dharma if you want to live a life dharmically. Then a lot of awareness is needed, because the dharma is so dynamic, it constantly keeps changing. I'll give you an example. When you come into meditation, your duty is to self-healing. You should not take any medicines, no doctors, no medicines. That becomes your dharma, because you understand you are not the body, you understand you are a soul. So you go for self-healing. Any problem, you heal yourself. You don't take the support of doctors and medicines. That becomes your dharma. But just imagine there was an accident and a lot of blood is going on. Then the apad dharma comes into the place. Apad dharma means exceptions. Dharma in the times of exceptions. So when you have an accident and a lot of blood is going on, you cannot say, I don't want to go to doctors, I cannot take medicines. No, that time you should follow the apad dharma. Apad dharma means your duty in terms of emergency. Apad dharma means duty in emergency. When you are severely fallen ill, and just imagine you are going through a very complicated illness, and you have to seek the medical help, or else you will vacate the body. So then it is an emergency. In general, we will not take medicines. For headache, fever, throat pain, we will not take medicines. But when the life is in danger, then you have to follow the apad dharma. So that means you have to seek help others. You have to take the help of others. Because we have got the body is very precious. So you have to make your effort in terms of emergencies and seek help of others. So while you understand dharma, you should also understand what is apad dharma. See, now it becomes a little more complicated, because first you know what is dharma, then you also know what is apad dharma. I'm just giving an example. And then there is varnashrama dharma. Varna means age of the soul. Ashrama means age of the body. So varnashrama dharma means according to the age of the soul, according to the age of the body, the duties keeps changing. The dharma keeps changing. There is an example in Mahabharata. Dharmaraja and Duryodhana, they both want to inherit the throne. So then, to decide who is more capable, they have given a case. They have called 4 culprits, 4 people who have done a lot of crimes, mistakes like stealing, hurting others. So they have done some bad things. Now they have to give the judgment in the court. So these 4 convicts have been brought in the court, and they gave this case to Duryodhana first. And Duryodhana asked the first person, did you do the mistake? He said, yes, I did the mistake. Then put him in the jail. Did you do the stealing? Yes, put him in the jail. Then the second case, did you kill that person? The person says yes, then hang him. So like that, Duryodhana calls for all the 4 people, and he will check whether they have committed the mistake. And for all the people who have done the mistake, he has punished. Then when it comes to Dharmaraja asked, first, what do you do? The first person says, I'm just a farmer. Okay. So have you done the crime? Say yes. Okay. Then you say, okay, pardon him. Then the next person he calls. So what you do? He says, I'm a trader. You have done this mistake? He said, yes. Okay. Give him 15 years of jail term. Then the third person he calls. He said, what do you do? He said, I'm a Kshatriya. Have you done this mistake? He said, yes. Then give him 5 years jail term. Then the fourth person he calls. So what do you do? I'm a Brahmin. Have you committed this mistake? Yes, I've committed this mistake. Then Dharma said, hang him immediately. Then everybody was astonished, surprised. Then Dharmaraja explains. A person who is doing a menial job, he's just doing farming. He doesn't know what is right and what is wrong. He doesn't know the Dharma. So he has to be pardoned. And a person who is doing a trader, he has a capacity to know his Dharma. So that's why he got a punishment, but minimum punishment. The third person, Kshatriya, it is his duty to protect. But instead of protecting, he hurt somebody. So that's why he has to be severely punished. And the fourth person is a Brahman. A Brahman is a person who has the Brahmajnana. He knows the truth. So knowing the truth, he did the mistake. That is the extreme adharma. So he deserves the punishment to be hanged. So in this classic example, you can understand the intensity of your karmas depend on your varna and ashrama. What is the age of your soul and the age of the body. Even in our law, if a juvenile does a mistake, a small child does a mistake, he doesn't get full punishment. He is sent to the correction course. But an adult does a mistake, then he is given full punishment. And also before giving the judgment, they ask under what circumstances you have done this crime. You killed somebody, but why you killed? You killed for the self-defense. You killed somebody so that you can protect yourself. Then you are pardoned. So the situation is also considered. It's a very interesting thing. At the same time, it's very complicated. It becomes complicated when there is no Gyan. But when there is Gyan, when you are in Satya, then it is very simple to understand. Truth is always simple. When you understand the truth is simple. When you don't understand the truth, you complicate it. Then you do a lot of adharma. Yeah. So once again, you see, when it comes to the Varnashrama Dharma, it depends on the age of the soul. So for an infant soul, baby soul, we call it as a Sudras. So even they do mistakes, it is pardonable, we can forgive. Then when the soul matures, then it's called a Vaishya. Then, yes, you did a mistake, but it is punishable, less punishable. So compared to a Vaishya, a Kshatriya gets more punishment because a Kshatriya is a much more evolved soul. Compared to a Kshatriya, a Brahmin gets the maximum punishment. Even though the mistake is the same, the four people have done the same mistake. But according to the soul evolution, the punishment keeps increasing. So it becomes a little more tricky because once we come into the path of meditation, then you should be very careful. See, killing animals, eating meat is a bad thing. But for an infant soul, baby soul, it is still a bad thing but the impact is less. The karma is there. The intensity of the karma is less. But eating, killing animals and eating their blood, eating their flesh is bad. You know it. And knowing still you do it. Then the intensity is so high. So that means knowing the truth, you are not executing the truth. You know the truth, but you're not following your dharma. Then that attracts the maximum punishment. So we have to be very careful about it. You do a mistake, not knowing it is a mistake. The punishment is less. You do a mistake, knowing it is a mistake, then the punishment is very intense. When I say the punishment, I mean in terms of what we have to pay back. In the higher worlds, there is no punishment. But how we pay back, the intensity is different. So I'll give you an example. Somebody is coming, a beggar is coming to you. You are walking in the street or you are driving your car. A beggar comes to you and asks for some money. Whether to give money to the beggar or not to give money to the beggar. So it's a very tricky thing. What to do? Dharma means what to do in this moment. What to do, what not to do. That is dharma. So if you give money, then you are trying to make him lazy. Then he continues begging. So you are actually contributing to his begging process. So whether to give money or not to give money. If you decide, oh, maybe I will not give money. Even though you have money, you decide that I will not give money. Then there is a possibility that, see, you have a lot of money and that person is really hungry. So you should have given the money. So what to do, what not to do is $1 million question. Always you have to do. So that's why it is very important. You have to be aware, alert in every given time to decide what to do, what not to do. And you see in India, the beggar doesn't ask for money directly. He will say, Thoda dharma dijiye, dharma karo, dharma karo. So that means whatever is your dharma, you do it. Whatever you feel is right, you do it. So at any given point of time, the righteousness comes. Whatever is right in this moment, I have to do it. And again, dharma is a duty. Everybody has to do their duty. Take an example of a school. A school has a principal, correspondent, the teacher, the students, the cleaners. Everybody has to do their duty. Then only the school can run. If the cleaner doesn't come and clean the room, clean the board and make sure the chairs and the tables, everything is properly arranged. If he doesn't do the duty, then the class cannot run. If the students don't listen, the duty of the students is to listen to the teacher. If the students are not doing their duty, then the teacher cannot teach. If the teacher is not doing the duty, then the students don't understand. If the principal is not doing his duty to make sure all the teachers are teaching, then it doesn't run properly. So for a small school to run, everybody has to do their dharma, everybody has to do their duty. And every duty is equally important. You might be a great enlightened person. You might be teaching meditation, or you might be preaching Brahmajnan. That is no greater than a sweeper sweeping the road. The sweeper is doing his dharma, and an enlightened person is doing his dharma. So both are equally important. No one duty is more important than the other duty. Every person's duty is equally important. This is a very important lesson we all need to learn. You should never look down upon anybody just because he's doing a menial job. He's doing his dharma. Just because you do a job which gives you more money, more praise, it doesn't mean you are a great person. Sometimes people who come into the spiritual path who do meditation, they think they are doing great things. That is ajnana. You are not doing great things. You are doing your dharma. That's all. You are no greater than another person, and also you are no less than another person. This is pure enlightenment, common sense. So dharma helps you to get liberated. Liberation from what? Liberation from the cycle of birth and death. The definition, according to the Hindu scriptures, thinking it is in Vaisheshikam, is dharma is that, the definition it is given is dharma, that which is called dharma is something which helps in your progress, pragati. Pragati means progress. That which helps your pragati, your progress in this world and also in the higher worlds. So it should help your progress not only in this world, but it should also help your progress even after death in the higher worlds. And that which eventually leads to your salvation, mukti, moksha, that is called dharma. So again, I repeat, the dharma, the action which helps in your progress, which helps in your pragati in this lifetime and also in the lifetimes after death, that means in the higher worlds, in this world and also in the higher worlds, and also which helps you in salvation, that is dharma. There is another understanding which Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita. The statement goes with it like this. We come from the higher planes. This is what Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita. Tvetvam bhutva swargalokom vishalam Shine punye mrityulokam vishanti. Something is there, I cannot remember the exact Sanskrit. But what is the meaning is it? We all belong to the higher worlds. Our home is in the causal worlds, supracausal worlds. We are temporary. We come to the earth. Why we come to the earth? We come to the earth because our punya is finished. When you have punya, you can enjoy in the higher worlds. When the punya is finished, we come to the lower worlds, mrityulokam, physical world. We come here to earn the punya. And once we gather the punya, again we go back to the higher worlds. So he says, Yogi Bhava Arjuna, come out of all the good karmas, come out of all the bad karmas. So, in essence, he is saying, Yogi Bhava Arjuna means you become a meditator. Only when you become a meditator, you will understand what is dharma and what is adharma. And when you understand what is dharma and adharma, then you are no more stuck in the loop of life and death. You are no more focused on bad karmas, you are no more focused on good karmas, you are focused on dharma. So when you do your dharma, and that dharma is going to liberate you, salvation. So our Hindu scriptures have spoken extensively about this Dharma. But it is our duty, it is our Dharma to understand it. So we'll understand more and more. And again, Krishna has said regarding Dharma, again in Bhagavad Gita, what he spoke about is Trayi Dharma. Like there are three kinds of Dharma. Dharma is classified into three categories. The first is the Dharma towards yourself. Dharma towards yourself, that means Dharma towards your Atma and Dharma towards your body. That is the first. Then the second is the Dharma towards the family you are born into and the Dharma towards the family you have got. So that means your Dharma towards your parents, Dharma towards your wife and husband, and Dharma towards your children. That is the second. The third is the Dharma towards your surroundings, the Dharma towards the society you are born into, the Dharma towards the community you are born into, the Dharma towards the village, the Dharma towards the country, and the Dharma towards the planet Earth. So that is the third. And it is not a choice, either you do 1, 2, 3. You have to do all the three. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. It's referred to as Trayi Dharma. And again, there are many different types of dharmas. Again, it's a very intense topic to understand the different types of dharmas. Like we have Dana Dharma, Dhyana Dharma, Swadhyaya Dharma, Mitra Dharma, Ahimsa Dharma, Vinaya Dharma, Shanti Dharma. So we have many types, which we will go in detail tomorrow. But first and the foremost, you have to understand is Dharma is equal to duty, your duty. And Dharma is, in other words, called righteousness, the right thing to do. In other words, it is pure common sense. And nobody will tell you what to do, what not to do. Your Dharma is born out of your own Satya. So it is, you have to, all the time, you have to take the inner guidance. You have to listen to your heart. You have to listen to your intuition. At any given point of time, if you have something and if you share, you have to share it with the right person. If you share it with the wrong person, then it becomes adharma. For example, you have a gift. If you misuse the gift, it is adharma. If you don't use the gift, you don't misuse, but you never used it, that is also adharma. You use the gift, but it is a wrong person you have given the gift to, then it becomes adharma. You have given the gift to the right person, but wrong timing, wrong situation, then becomes adharma. See how complicated it gets to. If you are a teacher, you have to teach what you know. But you should teach to the seekers. You cannot go and waste your time and energy to the people who are not seeking the truth. So it's a very, very interesting topic. The why am I saying it is interesting is this topic unfolds a lot of layers and it takes you into a state of alertness. And it is through this alertness the enlightenment is possible. There is a famous statement from Richard Bach, an enlightened master. He says, at any given point of time, in any lifetime, your only obligation is to be true to yourself. At any given point of time, in any lifetime, the only obligation you have is to be true to yourself. What a great statement. And according to thinking and destiny, Percival, the author Percival, he has spoken the great way. Yes, there is a chapter that called It's a Great Way. Now here in that he clearly mentions, if you want enlightenment, there are two things which is very essential. In other words, the eligibility of enlightenment. The eligibility of enlightenment, there are two things. The first is your ability to see the things as they are, not as you want or not as you feel. The ability to see the things as they are, that is the first eligibility. And to have that ability to see the things as they are, again, there are two things. So for the enlightenment, there are two eligible qualities, and each eligible quality has two subsets. So to see the things as they are, there are two requirements. The first is you have to be authentic. The second requirement is you have to be truthful. If you are not authentic and if you are not truthful, that means you cannot get enlightened, because that is the eligibility. To be authentic means to have certain integrity. What you think, what you speak, and what you do is all one and the same. That is authenticity. Integrity. So authenticity relates to yourself. It is more passive. The way you live your life. It is a passive. What you think and what you speak and what you do. Trikarana Shuddhi. That is the first. The second is truthful. When I say truthfulness, that relates to your words. Every time you open your mouth, you should always speak the truth. So that is active. You express, every time you open your mouth, you always express the truth. So this is what Jesus also said in the Bible. What goes into the mouth, that doesn't define the person, but what comes out of the mouth, that defines the person. So again, I repeat, there are two eligible qualities to be enlightened. The first one is to be able to see the things as they are in your life and in your surroundings. So to have the ability to see the things as they are, again, you need two things. One is authenticity, and number two is truthfulness. If there is no truthfulness, you cannot get enlightened, ruled out. If there is no authenticity, you cannot get enlightened, ruled out. So that is the first aspect, the first eligibility for enlightenment. Then the second eligibility for enlightenment is you have to do your duty. You have to do your dharma. If you don't do your dharma, there is no possibility of enlightenment. Again, the duties are two kinds. Swadharma, the duty towards yourself, and paradharma, the duty towards others. There is only one Swadharma. There is only one Swadharma, that is meditation. And all the rest is paradharma. All the rest of the dharmas are paradharmas, but there is only one Swadharma. So you should be able to do your Swadharma and paradharma, both. Then you become eligible for enlightenment. It goes on. We will continue tomorrow with the types of dharmas, the different kinds of dharmas. Okay, friends. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.